Well, hello and welcome to another edition of the CEO Spotlight. I'm Kim Carpenter, the County Executive Officer for San Juan County. And today we're going to talk about emergency preparedness. With me is Stewart Logan, the Safety and Compliance Manager of San Juan. And Stewart, thanks for being with us.
Thanks for having me, appreciate it.
You know, we spend a lot of time about emergency preparedness and even preparing for such. And so, you know, of course, September is Emergency Preparedness Month. What kind of activities in September do we have on tap?
Well, one thing we have is, and we've been doing this all year so far, is what's called a CERT class. And CERT stands for Community Emergency Response Team. And so what we did is we put it out to the county employees, people in the departments, people who would be interested in taking this class and learning about emergency preparedness, so that if there is an emergency within their respective departments, they're trained and ready to go for what happens. So we actually had our first class back in March of this year, and hopefully we'll be finished up with a series of classes by December. So far we've talked about weather issues, we've talked about bombings, we've talked about active shooters, we've had the FBI in to speak to us. So we've talked about a variety of subjects. Also, for our CERT class members, we also issued them a bag, and I think we also issued you a bag. And we've encouraged the participants to every month add something to their bag. It already came with some things in their bag, but we said start adding things to your bag. So some people have just filled those things to the gills with things like rope, toiletry items, bunches of things that if something happened they could bug out or have something that would take care of themselves on a trip even. So they've done a very good job, and that's one of the things we've done is start the CERT class and helping people to build an emergency kit.
You know, Stewart, we look at what San Juan County has done over the years and the trainings, the drills, you know, and then the real life stuff. And the one thing that I'm very proud of in San Juan County, and the citizens should be proud of, is our preparedness, because we have stepped up in many catastrophic events that have occurred in other parts of the country that we became prepared for. For example, evacuees in Hurricane Katrina. You know, we had the Gold King mine spill, which was something we had to work with and worked with federal agencies. And you know, the one thing I'm very proud of, we have such a good dynamic team. Mike Mestis is our emergency manager, and of course you, and we've got other people, and then we work collaboratively with other local governments. Tell us about that.
So, and I would also include in there too, we have the GIS department, because during the Gold King mine we had the GIS department tracking the Gold King mine.
Geographical
Information systems. And they basically pinpointed when the Gold King mine spill was going to hit the Farmington area, and they did a very good job of that. But we also collaborated a lot with New Mexico State University Extension Office, Bonnie Hopkins and her people down there. They worked really well with us as far as meeting the needs of the farmers and everybody. Worked with the City of Farmington, Ed Smiley in Emergency Management, State Police, Farmington Police, everybody. So a good example of that is when we did have the Aztec Schools shooting, everybody participated, everybody came to help, and everybody knew their role, and everybody just came together, and it worked marvelously. All the training, all the interactions we've had, everybody knew what to do, when to do it, and how to do it. So it really pays off to train and get everybody involved and have all those extra agency participants. You
know, when we look at all the things that have happened, we've actually had to declare, I've declared what, 5 state of emergencies in the last 5 years.
Quite a few.
And all of them for us have been water-based. They've been water emergencies in the Bloomfield ditch, that Bloomfield was losing water and not going to have drinking water. The siphon at Nappy was another
Golden
one.
Harvest.
We had of course, Harvest Gold.
Harvest Gold, yeah.
And then we had Gold King Mine, and then we also had the collapse of a ditch out, you know, in the Kirtland area. And so, talking about water, when you've got about 2/3 of the water that flows through New Mexico that comes right through this county, those are gonna happen. But you know, and then you put together some of the adjacent states that have had emergencies and how we're ready for and assisting with that, and you know, catastrophic events that have occurred there. And then you look at the aspects that we've had with of course the school shooting, all of that. And to your point, without drills, without preparedness. We've had active shooter drill right here in this administration building. Tell us about that one.
We did several years back. You authorized us to close the administration building early. On I think it was a Monday afternoon. We closed about 3:30. Put signs all around the county that there's a drill going on. And actually we had that, you talk about water, we actually had that drill planned for back in September, and the day we had it planned for September, and that time that you had authorized us to close the building, it was monsoon season. We got hit by a big storm that came through San Juan County.
Floods, yeah.
Massive floods, and we had to call off the drill because all the emergency responders were out and about the county, so we had to put it off. So we did it in January. We did, actually in that drill, we did an active shooter drill with not only the Sheriff's Office, but also EMT and fire rescue. And it was the first time they had practiced doing a hot entry drill. And what a hot entry drill is, we had simulated mass shooting with the shooter coming down the hallway, and as the Sheriff's Office was coming and checking out the rooms and everything else and declared those rooms clear, the fire and EMTs would come in behind them and start looking for victims and taking them out. So that was the first time they had practiced that. We spent about an hour and a half doing drills, people coming down like that, an active shooter. We did a hostage situation. So we took about an hour and a half just to practice a drill. And so to that end, all the training that Mike Mestis and the emergency management group has put on for the county and for us in particular has paid off. That drill went great. We found some weaknesses, but we also saw a lot of strengths in what people were doing.
You know, over the years, even with the drill and the drills that we've done and the actual events that we've had, we find weaknesses and we discuss them in the after action report and the planning process. But it says a lot because we're learning as we go, obviously, to try to get us where we need to be in the event we have the next one. Mm-hmm. And so, but I think the citizens should be very proud because San Juan County is really a benchmark, the benchmark, if you will, for the state of New Mexico when it comes to preparedness. And it says an awful lot of what we do here and how we can help others elsewhere to be able to help be prepared.
And I would agree. I was just in some meetings over the past few days in Albuquerque, and the group I was with and talking about crisis management, they're beginning on their crisis management plan. And so one of the comments I made to them is, if you practice nothing, when the time comes, you will do nothing in case of emergency. But if you practice something, when that time comes, you will do something. And one thing that's always impressed me about our Office of Emergency Management here is the fact that the state is constantly looking to us. They say we are one of the few counties that practice anything, that have an annual drill, that keep up with things. So it's very important that we do it. And you're right, the state does look to us for what we do, how we do it, how often, stuff like that. So we do set the benchmark.
Well, and as you look at the big picture, we've had federal agencies that were so impressed with what we've done, and I'm not tooting the horn of the county, but I do want to reassure that we are not sitting idle.
Right.
We train and are very proactive, so that when it comes time, we have a reactiveness that has purpose.
Right.
And case in point, school shooting, case in point, these catastrophic events with water, case in point, being ready for evacuees from people from another state. And so we're going to continue to do that. What's on the forefront this year for safety and emergency preparedness?
Well, what we're working on right now is some more active shooter drills, but we're also looking, and as you well know too, at the county here, we can send out alerts to our county employees by our cell phone application as well as our desktop. So we're doing some more testing and experimenting with the app as well as the desktop console and sending out alerts to county employees to make them aware of what's going on. Then in the future, we'll be doing some more active shooter training. But I think we're also going to move on to some other training. What if we did have a really bad event, like somebody trying to set off a bomb in a county building? That's where the CERT team would come in handy, and that they would take the self-initiation to help out their fellow employees. So we're working on something along that lines too, something very catastrophic for the county. So always trying to think of some scenarios that could apply to the county.
For a citizen that might be watching this, if they wanted to know more information about the preparedness and how they could actually get on a database or anything for emergencies, what would they do?
Well, there's several. The Office of Emergency Management has their webpage, and they're always putting out updates on that. What we're looking to do now with the county's website also and Facebook page is just putting out information, if not on a weekly, then on a monthly basis about certain planning and what you can do to enhance your preparedness at home. So we're just looking at avenues where we can branch out from what we've done, all the training we've done with the county, and include the citizens.
Well, good. Well, we're going to wrap up with the CEO Spotlight. Stewart, thanks for being with us.
You're welcome.
And we look forward to having another Spotlight here shortly. And again, if you want to know more information, you can contact the Office of Emergency Management, and we'd be happy to visit with you. And rest assured that the county is continuing to better itself so that we can create a safer and better quality of life for you, the citizen. I'm Kim Carpenter, the CEO, signing off, and this has been another County CEO Spotlight.